Hello Canada, welcome back to another edition of the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias Tagai. Okay, so I was building a wicked file on Daniel Smith today, but we've got Dougie and a whole bunch of other, we'll call them hack liberals, that are coming totally unglued. So I'm going to wait until everybody's done throughout the day here in Canada. And I will stay up late like I always do. And do that for the morning show. But today, I can't keep up to, well, not only Mark Carney's presser after his meeting with Trump, the lies and spins that he's putting out. And that the media is backing up once again, clipping out and doing specific questions and like normal, but mainstream is trying to cover for him. I'm just going to expose a couple of them throughout this Carney presser. This is absolutely hilarious. Some days I love this job. You just can't make this stuff up. That's why I did the channel, is to expose mainstream for what they are and give you just the facts, just the truth. Sorry, not sorry. So, oh God, Canada, we need you to like, share, and subscribe. Get the word out on us independent media so we can just keep exposing mainstream for the propaganda machine they are. One of the best ones that they put out, and this is CTV yet. Now, if you watch the previous episode I just laid out there, pretty much exposes, and I even talked just a little bit. I only talked a little wee bit about body language. Now, again, I'm not no trained, educated. I'm an educated, reader of body language, but I am a reader. And I've read a few books, and definitely never turned down any articles or any papers that are written on people giving away their body language, especially through and everything. It goes right down to a person's voice, to certain tics that they have, even sounds they make. Of course, eye movement plays a lot, and if you I urge you to watch the entire episode. On Carney. His body language speaks words, and so does Trump's in that. Well, we're gonna deal with the after presser, of course, and then I'm just gonna play the counter to whatever Carney's lying about with what Trump says, and then of course we're gonna fulfill a little wee bit of the media bullcrap going in there, and I only picked out a couple there because they're endless. But then I'm also gonna finish the episode off on a really substantial statement made by Trump that should be an eye-opener to the world on Russia, Ukraine, and the Liberal Party. That'll be the last clip. Let's just get started with CTV and this absolute bullcrap propaganda cover-up of the Liberal Party. It's so embarrassing. Let's take a look at this. So, body language expert says Trump showed respect in meeting with Carney. From the first handshake outside the White House, one body language expert says U.S. President Donald Trump clearly showed a certain level of respect for Prime Minister Carney during the meeting today. Obviously, the risk always with the handshake with Trump is he's going to pull you off balance. We see that happening time and time again, Mark Bowden told CTV News. In this particular situation, he didn't try to pull Carney off balance, which would suggest that Trump sees Carney as quite a strong person, as somebody who should be respected. I think Carney's tactic there was to stay as deadpan and still as possible, Bowden said. He'll often do lip purses, which is his kind of sucking his cheeks in a little bit, that we often associate with withheld opinion. If Carney could be criticized for one thing, Bowden says he could have done more to jump into the conversation as Trump dominated the dialogue in the Oval Office. Carney was often left silently holding a finger in the air when he wanted to make a point, which he did. He was like a little school kid. Oh, teacher. Oh, teacher. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that if you, of course, I live this 24 hours a day. I follow media, politics, of course, and Trump being the changer that he is within the world. I've watched him for a long time, many years, since actually even before he was running for office. He did fascinate me. He truly is a hell of a negotiator and a businessman, but he treats weaker people softly. If strong people are the ones where he tries to dominate in a handshake, this expert is, first of all, he's lying right through his teeth, because either he's an idiot and never looked at understanding how Trump, his body language speaks. And Trump's body language is loud. You cannot mistake it. He's got everything from grins. He does a tooth grind thing. Of course, he always does a little shoulder shuffle. He'll even adjust himself in his seat. A lot of times he'll put his head down and lift his head back up. He's also got a very good poker style to him. He's got sometimes where you see him and you know he's waiting to drop a bombshell, or sometimes he'll surprise you and not. And then days will go by, and then boom, he'll bring it out. So he's a very hard man to read. But one thing I can tell you is he doesn't grab weak men the same way he grabs strong individuals. If there is a confrontational part or somebody where he needs to show dominance to, he will do the aggressive jab and a lot of the aggressive handshake. And a lot of the time, it's done in not necessarily just a pull, but he will actually lift up in order to show dominance, to bend the wrist. And again, depending on the size of the person, you got to remember a lot of leaders are tiny little men, because most of them are psychopaths. They got brain things, right? Small man syndrome is how most of the guys I hang out with in books that I read like to kind of call it. Now, Carney is a very tiny man. I'm talking minuscule man. I don't think the guy weighs 125 pounds. He is not even considered a lightweight. He is like a super featherweight. Trump was not going to grab him and pull him in, because first of all, he would have broke the guy's wrist. And second of all, Trump has no fear. He has nothing to worry about with Carney. That was visible from the handshake all the way in. This whole piece from CTV, and as normal, I post everything in my description, so you can go through it and read the entire article, is propaganda. Propaganda. Trump didn't have to worry about treating him in any manner to show power, because Trump wanted him to be elected, wanted the liberals to stay in power, because Trump gets what he wants. If he didn't, you would have seen him not do the pull, because he's a little man. He would have did the up, which puts the little guy disproportionately and off balance, and then he doesn't have to worry about him fumbling or the guy tripping on him, whereas anybody bigger than this lightweight that we've got, he would do the little jerk to the little pull to kind of dominate, but only people where he needs to show his power. There's no reason to show power here. This is embarrassing. This whole article is embarrassing. Now, let's get started on this. I'm just going to start playing it. This is hilarious. I'm going to break, and for those of you that watch mainstream media, just watch carefully. I'm going to expose, and I'm not even going to use mainstream, because I like this thing could be like 4 hours long, just shredding how they're trying to prop up the liberals and Carney. I'm just going to destroy it with what Carney is saying to what Trump said. let's get started.
I was watching your face through the meeting in the Oval Office, and I wondered what was going through your mind
You see the
when
cheek
the president...
thing? This is that little grinding. Remember? Oh, he does a little cheek pucker thing. This just got debunked right there. This so-called professional is an idiot. So CTV, please, enough. Jesus.
talked about erasing the artificial border,
It's called uncomfortable.
and how he criticized your predecessor and Madam Freeland.
Thank you for your question. I'm glad that you couldn't tell what was going through my mind as that was going through. With respect to the first point, the president has made known his wish about that issue for some time. I've been careful always to distinguish between wish and reality. I was clear there in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale. It never will be for sale. Some things, as I said in the room, some things are never for sale. And he agreed with that. I distinguish between the two. And then with respect to the importance of reestablishing a constructive relationship for negotiations of a partnership, of an economic and security partnership, which is what we were here for. I look forward, not back, and I think we established a good basis today.
So he didn't answer the question, really, did he? When this was what the reporter was referring to.
I won't say this about Mark, but I didn't like his predecessor. I didn't like a person that worked for. She was terrible, actually. She was a terrible person. And she really hurt that deal.
Now watch Mark's. Tell me that he did well. He just embarrassed us once again on the global stage.
Very badly, because she tried to take advantage of the deal and she didn't get away with it. You know what I'm talking about. But
Now he's even changing color, which shows embarrassment, the inability to do anything, weakness, and the fact that he's doing his little shoulder thing and he's swallowing his spit. He probably would like to say something, but he's a mouse, sitting beside a lion, and he has no leg to stand on because Canada has been destroyed by the party he is now part of and leading.
Bad relationship having to do with the fact that we disagreed with the way they viewed the deal. And we ended it. We ended that relationship pretty much. The USMCA is great for all countries. It's good for all countries. We do have a negotiation coming up over the next year or so to adjust it or terminate it.
Mr. President, I'll say a word on USMCA, if I may, Mr. President. It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change. And part of the way you've conducted these tariffs has taken advantage of existing aspects of USMCA. So it's going to have to change. There's other elements that are come, and that's part of what we're going to discuss.
Right.
Now, did you see what Trump did when he replied that? First of all, he avoided the entire insult altogether. He wanted to just move away. He's moving away from that. In the meantime, he's saying that how Trump has taken advantage of it. And Trump already had his head and was kind of doing this, and Trump does what he's doing right now. He has that kind of pucker. He just took a mental note of that. Now, I wish I could be a fly on the wall and have been inside the actual closed meeting, because I can guarantee you, more than likely, I should certainly guarantee, but more than likely, Carney got ripped for that. And that is going to be another strike against Canada. And we have no footing. We have no economy. So, yes, Chrystia Freeland, you're a schmuck. You're a complete hypocrite. And if you watch previous episodes, you'll know how much I dislike her for what her family heritage has done to my ancestors. And then she herself is doing once again. This chick is evil, and she's an idiot, incompetent. Okay, we're going to go a little bit further here.
What gives you specifically any indication that the president is willing to renegotiate a new trade deal with you and drop tariffs?
Apart from the fact that he said that he would, is willing to have that negotiation, I think that's the main thing. That doesn't presuppose the outcome of the negotiation. As I've emphasized, it's a complex negotiation. There'll be zigs and zags, difficult aspects to it, but the prospect is there. We discussed it in more detail, and as I said a moment ago, we'll be following up both between officials, but also he and I in the coming weeks. Thank you.
So did he? Did he really say that? Okay. Let's hear what Trump said.
Is there anything the Prime Minister can say to you today to change your mind on tariffing Canada?
Tariffing cars?
Tariffing Canada. Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
What's your first state?
Yeah.
If Canadians don't want it,
Yeah. Put your hand up. Ask the teacher,
Sure, I
Carney.
would. But
Put your hand up. Ask the teacher. No. Everything Carney just said there in that question was a lie. Blatant, outright propaganda. Help me out. Make this get through to the Canadians on your CBC, CTV, and the rest of all of your propaganda media. This is what they're going to put out. And this, believe it or not, and I'm watching it live time. I've got the TVs going. I've got them alternating channels. This is the crap they're spewing. No. There's nothing he said. There's nothing he can do. Because Canada is powerless, especially with the same party in power that decimated our economy. Let's move on a little wee bit further. You just can't make this stuff up. This is the idiocracy, the stupidity of the Liberal Party and their propaganda machine.
Behind the border in terms of raids as well. Huge investments in border personnel, in drone surveillance, Black Hawk surveillance, and then those are being reinforced.
Do you feel better or worse about Canada-U.S. relations after meeting with the president today?
It was a very constructive meeting. I feel better about the relations in the sense of, in many respects, one, the posture, if I can put it that way, or the positioning the president took towards us. Secondly, the breadth of discussion and how concrete the discussions were. These are the discussions you have when you're looking to find solutions as opposed to laying down terms, if you will. So feel better about that. And I would add one other thing, which maybe isn't as obvious, so I should say it, which is that we also discussed a number of issues globally, geostrategically, if I can put it that way, where we have common interests, common concerns, and that, of course, is a sign of a broader and very healthy, or a healthy relationship. Look, we have, JP, we have a lot more work to do. I'm not trying to suggest, at any respect, that we can have one meeting and everything's changed, but now we are engaged and very fully engaged.
Okay.
Mr. President, what changes would you like to see to the USMCA? Or what changes would you like to see?
we're going to work on some subtle changes, maybe. I don't even know if we're going to be dealing with USMCA. We're dealing more with concepts right now. Look, right now, we're doing trade. We have trade. They're paying a tariff on cars and steel and aluminum. And I think we have a baseline of 10% or something like that for the tariffs. But we're getting along very well. Right now, going no further, but we have an agreement. We did something with even parts. You want to discuss that, Howard, with respect to Canada, which helps Canada out?
Sure. So we've made an arrangement with the car companies that 15% of their USMCA parts are included, and then 15% of foreign parts from the manufactured suggested retail price are not tariffed to help domestic manufacturing really thrive.
So it gave them a chance to be able to build their car parts factories if they're going to. A lot of these companies already have factories, and what they have to do is just fill them out. But they're able to build them in the United States, so we gave them a pretty substantial period of time.
Just to clarify, Mr. President, is there anything the Prime Minister can say to you today to change your mind on tariffing Canada?
Tariffing cars.
Tariffing Canada. Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that could get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
Look at Mark Carney's body language. It tells you everything right there. He's completely out of his league. And like I keep saying, we have nothing left. This party has just annihilated Canada. We have no strength. Nothing. And if you think unity, because that's what the media kept saying, tell me how unified is Canada, which we're going to dabble on tonight, especially coming out of Dougie's mouth and a lot of these others. You guys created this. You guys created it by not pointing out the lies from propaganda media and by supporting the same party that has caused this carnage.
No.
No.
Just the way it is.
It's the way it is. Now, listen to CBC.
So that, of course, is the big sort of moment that happened in the Oval Office. But there's so much more that took place inside the West Wing that is really going to sort of drive how this relationship goes forward. Mark Carney, in that moment, it's clear that, you know, he was prepared for the possibility, the very likelihood that that was going to come up, and had a response that was ready to go that hopefully the president would sort of relate to by saying, look, you know, there are places that just aren't for sale. Look at the White House where we are right here, something that, you know, he's not going to be able to argue with right there.
Is she telling you the truth? If you watch the previous episode, the whole clip's there. I broke it apart. Right after he said that, oh no, like the White House and, you know, the Vatican and blah, 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 blah. Some things aren't for sale. And Trump was like, yeah, whatever. And then twice in the same conversation later on, he pretty much threw it out there that, no, Canada should be the 51st state. Now, Canada is weak. Trump knows it. Canada elected the wrong party. Like, just completely... We'll just listen. Listen to this verbal diarrhea.
But there are so many other things that came out of this entire meeting, the public aspect of it. And, you know, it comes down to what are the things that are going to be tangible going forward. The 51st state thing, Canadians have made it abundantly clear that that is a non-starter. It is not going to be happening. And they get very angry and irritated and agitated when Donald Trump keeps saying it over and over and over again. But that is an issue that is a really sore point in the Canada-U.S. relationship. But it's not something that's necessarily going to change. What's going to change is, will this new tone between the United States and Canada, will this tone between Carney and Trump, will it foster an ability for there to be conversations, respectful dialogue related to trade, to get the relationship on a path toward what it traditionally has been, to work on cooperation, to find solutions to the irritants that are in that trading relationship. Those are the kinds of things that are going to change. Mark Carney today at his...
They're going to change. These are the things that are going to change. Really. This is propaganda, people. Professional 100% propaganda.
Press conference saying he feels like there was progress, or it was constructive on that front. He said he's going to be talking to Donald Trump in the next few weeks and that officials will continue their conversations. And that's the place where we might actually see some change. However, it's not going to come immediately. Trump himself said it, that, you know, he was asked about, are the tariffs going to come off? He's like, nope, and that's just the way it's going to be. That is the thing that Canada wants the most in this moment. But again, it's about getting a pathway to get there. It's going to be a long process, and that's what was on display in the White House today.
Yeah, and Katie, just Donald Trump spoke a little while ago at a FIFA announcement where he said he had the meeting went very well. He had a good meeting, no tension. We want to do what's right for our respective peoples, and that's what's going to happen. He took a shot at Justin Trudeau, and he said that Mark Carney is a big step up. It's a good step up for Canada. So there you go. That's the change in tone. Katie, lots more to talk about. We're going to see you a little bit later in the show. You're going to join us on the Power Panel. It's the CBC's Katie Simpson here in Washington. Look, we want to show you another exchange from the Oval Office today.
Now, Here's what Trump said.
First question, is there any reason you haven't referred to Mark Carney as governor as you did with Trudeau? And the second question, you said earlier that you don't have to sign any trade deals, of course. Is there any country you expect to sign a trade deal with this week, as Secretary Bessent has indicated?
Well, we're looking at a lot of them. We're talking to a lot of them right now. I think I don't want to bore people with that, but I gave a very long definition this morning in the Oval Office. We're in very, very good shape. This country's never been in better shape. And
Now, did you catch that? Why didn't Cue Ball bring that up? In other words, Trump just completely trashed Canada in the private meeting, and everything he said earlier still stands. There's no change. If anything, he feels even better. His objectives are being met thanks to the propaganda machine and the Liberal Party. Elbows up.
We're doing great. We were being ripped off by every country in the world virtually, and now we're not being ripped off anymore. It's very simple, very, very simple. As far as calling him Governor Carney, no, I haven't done that yet, and maybe I won't.
Yet. Okay, Cue Ball. Do you see how propaganda words things? Yet. Oh, our media is so corrupt.
I did have a lot of fun with Trudeau, but I think this is a big step up. It's a good step up for Canada. I watched very closely. I thought he did really terrifically in the debates. I like him. You know, he's a nice man. We get along very well. We had a great meeting today. Really good. I think the relationship's going to be very strong. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Now, CBC was real. They would do what I'm doing, and they would show you the clip instead of putting it in their words. There you go. You had a great meeting. It went great. Everything's going as I planned. I am going to destroy Canada and take all of its business and watch it implode because I helped get and keep the Liberals in power. That's right there. He says another statement, which I'm going to put at the end of this. First, I want to show you one more. This will be the last one I show you from Carney's presser. You want to see an idiot? You want to see a, how shall we say it, a pompous idiot?
Hi, Prime Minister. Stephanie Taylor with the National Post. I heard you say, there's a difference between the president's comments around Canada becoming a 51st state as a wish versus a reality. You told him that Canada was not for sale. But many Canadians are offended and deeply angered by the fact that he keeps repeating this comment. So have you asked the president to stop calling Canada the 51st state?
Yes. Today.
Okay, specifically, what?
See how nervous he is? He's even picking. He's like a little child. So, you know, when the kid sits there and he kind of pushes his foot around in the dirt. Did you do it? No. Yes, I did, Mom. Yes, I did.
Did you ask him?
Exactly what you just said.
But what words did you use? How did you ask him?
Look, I gave you an answer. Do you have a follow-up?
No. I'll say.
Oh, I gave you an answer. He doesn't want to talk about it anymore. He's starting to get defensive.
What was his answer?
Well, we'll look. I don't know. He's the president. He's his own person. I would go back to showing the difference between a wish and a reality. We're very clear. I've been very clear publicly, consistently. I've been very clear in private. It was clear again in the Oval Office. Would be clear throughout. The president. He understands that we're having a negotiation between sovereign nations and that we will only pursue and accept a deal that's in the best interests of Canada, not just in the short term, but in the medium and long term for Canada.
Now, honestly, is that how any, like, my viewers especially, and you watching that, after what I've shown you in its entirety, without clipping and editing and just giving you, it, like literally, it's all, and if you're a new viewer and you didn't watch the previous episode, I urge you to watch all of mine. I post all of the links in the description. You can watch all of these in their entirety to see I'm not misrepresenting one side or the other. I'm just laying out the facts. Just the truth. Sorry, just the truth. We are in big trouble. The propaganda arm convinced Canadians to elect this useless globalist who Trump wants in power so he can fulfill his green agenda, which is going to just garner and help make it a lot easier for Trump to push through what he wants. Now, I'm going to finish this clip off on one more thing that Trump said at this FIFA, which is quite fascinating.
You mentioned the G7 and you said it used to be called the G8.
Yeah.
As the host country, you can actually invite Russia to the G7 plus one. What's your thinking on that right now, Mr.
Well,
President?
Russia used to be a member of what was called then the G8. And I don't think I was really in politics at that point, but I know that President Obama didn't like it. And they voted Russia out. And I say if they didn't vote Russia out, which I thought was a very foolish decision because it's a group of people sitting around a table. I've done it many times with them, and you get to know them. And I say that if it was the G8, if Russia were in it, I think you probably wouldn't have this ridiculous, deadly war going on right.
He's absolutely right. But wait, there's more.
Now, I thought it was a very bad decision. It was headed by Trudeau, by the way, and Obama. They were the ones that really fought hard to get Russia out. I think if Russia were in, you wouldn't be. They threw them out. And because of that, maybe millions of people are dying. Millions, millions. The numbers are far greater than you think. But millions of people are dying. If he was sitting around a table with other people, 7 people, hammering him and saying, let's not do this, I think you wouldn't probably have had the problems that you've had.
See? Strong leader, negotiator, debater, not the wimp that we had for the last 10 years that put his tail between his legs, screwed over Canada with the help of sellout Singh. This Russian war should never have started. And all of the media is still lying. They're lying about what's actually going on and what actually caused the war. I urge you to check out previous episodes. I break that down and give it as it is, the truth. Sorry, just the truth. The media is it is the heaviest hammer of a socialist government. And what they have done to our nation, especially in the last 10 years, is just reprehensible. It cannot be forgiven. This is why we need you to like, share, and subscribe. Get the word out so people can see the truth. Again, this whole clip will be posted. You can watch it in its entirety. He goes on to say a little wee bit more. Canada is just, what an embarrassment our nation has become. No wonder there are so many people who want to leave, who have already fled the country. It's crazy what we've become, and what the media just keeps pushing and allowing to keep going. There's a great documentary called Ukraine on Fire. I will post the link in this episode. I've posted it in many episodes. If you want to understand what's going on in the Ukraine war, watch the documentary. It's the best history lesson you'll ever get on the complete history of Ukraine. and what caused the war that's going on today. And this documentary, if you watch it and you absorb it and learn from facts, you will totally understand where this administration is right now. Craziness. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the episode. Like I said, everything's all down there. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you are, punch that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. I have got constantly, I've been watching my phones just going off here as well. There's a lot of crap going down right now with the whole separatist movement. This, watching Dougie and all the rest of these people come out and make fools of themselves is quite hilarious. So I will have one heck of a morning episode for all of my fans. Until the next time, you have been watching the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias Tagai. Stay informed.